Hello guys and welcome back to another Hunter's Prestige how to fit video. On today's video we're going to be showing you how to fit our long awaited LED side vent. Okay, so when you purchase our LED side vents, what you actually get included in the kit is you get side vents themselves, you get a pack of cable ties, you also get the clips for the back of the vents, you get some wire guides, and also you get the harness required as well. If you have a LED grow light fitted, don't worry, this is also a piggyback and we'll show you the process to follow if you also have a LED grow light as well. The tools required for today's fitment are as follows. You need a 10mm ratchet or alternatively a spanner. You need a flathead stubby screwdriver. You need a plastic trim tool, a metal trim tool if you have one available. If you don't, you can use the plastic alternative. Some long nose pliers, some masking tape, and also a wire feeder. So let's get started on today's fitment video. Okay, so the first step in this process is to remove the clips and the two flathead screws at the top of the right hand side of the vehicle to actually release the shroud. So we're using the metal trim tool here, but if you do have a plastic one, that's no worries. So this is so we can gain access to the fuse box, which is underneath the shroud. And if you have a left hand drive vehicle, obviously this will be on the right hand side of the car. Now this part of the shroud can now come off. The next step is to remove the opposite side. So again, you need a screwdriver for this to release the flathead screws, and a trim tool to release the plastic clips. To release the plastic clips, all you need to do is actually twist these anti-clockwise to release them, and then use the trim tool underneath and they should come out easily. Okay, now it's ready to remove the second part. It should look like this. Okay, the next step is to actually remove the original grills. As you can see here, easiest way to do this is to open the door and pull it from the inside. You can use a trim tool for this, but we're very experienced so we can do it with our hands. Be careful of the clips when taking this off. If you do lose any, don't worry, we do supply replacement clips with the kit. And next up, you have to repeat the same process, but on the other side. Well, the next step we need to take is to remove the fuse box cover. It's easily done by using the release clips on either side of the fuse box, and also there is one on the top and the bottom as well. As you can see here, this is where the clips are that you have to release. They're simply done by pulling them out, and there's 4 in total. Remember this and the way that you actually remove the fuse box for when we actually put the fuse box cover back on later. Okay, so the next step is to just lightly push away the sound insulation from the side of the wing. As you can see we have done here, and the reason for this is we're about to feed the wire through the vent space. Okay, so using the wire feeder, what you want to do is just feed that at the top of the vent, and you should be able to see it coming through on the other side. What you may need to do is using your hand, just go on the inside of the wing and just feel for the wire feeder. As you can see, it's now come through. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave it like that, and we're going to get the wiring harness. What you want to do, you want to make sure that you have the correct side of the wiring harness. So depending if your fuse box is on the left hand side of your car or on the right hand side, obviously this is where you're going to need the positive wire for the fuse. So make sure you use the shorter version on this side and the longer on the other side. So our fuse box is on the left hand side of the vehicle, so we're going to use the smaller part of the wiring harness for this. Okay, there's a little foam pad just above where the bonnet latch is. What you want to do is just slightly move that out of the way so you can actually feed the wire feeder through there. Okay, the next step is to use masking tape and just to attach the smaller part of the wiring harness to that wire feeder. So now we're going to feed that wire back through. And it can be very fiddly, but don't worry, it is relatively easy to do. Okay, so we just got the wiring harness through that part of the guide, so that's just underneath the foam currently. And the next step, what we're going to do is actually pull through that wiring connector through to the vent. It's quite tricky to see where we're actually going to be feeding the wire in, but it's just the inside of the vent, just like so. Just going to feed that connector through with the wire feeder. So as soon as you get the wire through, like so, just want to release the masking tape from the wire feeder and just leave the cable hanging like so. This is where the cable connector will come out. So the next step is to actually stick the cable guides on. So I've got little sticky backs. You want to put one here and one here. Then just feed the wire through, which is already on the actual grill, like so. Okay, the next step is to transfer the original clips from your previous vents to the new ones. If you have lost some clips, don't worry, we do provide you spares within the kit. In total, you will need 6 clips. Okay, now that is ready and prepped, we're just going to put the 2 connectors together, so the male and the female. It should make a little click when they're connected. And then we're going to put the grill on now, but you do want to pull the wire back a little bit if you've got too much slack. And then make sure the clips are in the correct position. Give it a nice little tap to make sure it's nice and secure. And just check around the outside to make sure everything is clipped in properly, like so. The next step is just to move the wire on top of this part of the foam that we moved earlier, and then just push that back in to where it was originally. Okay, we're now about to feed the cable, the longer side of the wiring harness to the other side of the car. So obviously we can start feeding the cable for the other side vent. So for that, we go underneath this metal panel on the shroud, as you can see, all the way to the top. Okay, the next step is to just push this sound insulation again out of the way. And you want to get your wire guide again. You just want to feed that through onto the other side, just like we do on the other side. Sometimes this side's a little bit easier. There we go, that's coming through that hole there. Next up, you want to just feed the wire underneath this plastic trim. And you just want to put a bit of masking tape on that connector to keep on the wire feeder. And we're going to pull that wire back through. The connector should come through quite easily. You now need to transfer all of the clips again, just like we did on the previous side of the grill, onto the new side. You may notice that the back of this grill is actually sealed, obviously because the other side is the raised air intake side, and this side is just a blank. And again, just like the previous side, we now need to install the cable guides. So for this, we're going to put one just here. Also just here. We're going to run the wire through those guides, and it should now look like this. Okay, now connect the connectors just like we did previously on the other side, so male to female. It should click, and again pull through any slack that you have, because you don't want there to be too much wire inside there because it may rattle. Once you're happy, place the grill in into the correct location, just tap those clips in. Now both the grills have now been installed. We're now about to just put the positive and negatives on. So as I said previously, this car is fitted with an LED grill light, so we will be piggybacking off the same cable. We'll show you how to do that now. So using a 10mm ratchet or possibly a spanner, just want to lift up this screw, which is just above this strap mount. Put the connector just underneath that and just tighten up the bolt. There is a wire holder here, so we're just going to open that up. There's a little clip in the back. We're just going to feed that negative wire through there, like so, and then close that back up again. As mentioned previously, this customer has an LED grill light fitted, so we're going to show you how to piggyback off that. So basically this piggyback wire has a fuse on one end, and then on the other side there is another connection. So on the red cable of the LED grill light, the connector will just simply go into that section here, like so. Push it into that connector. Obviously, if you don't have an LED grill light, don't worry about that connector. There will not be any additional wires. So you just need to get this fuse holder now. The location that we're going to put this fuse holder in is F7B. We'll show you a diagram of where this is as well, but if you don't know, it is on the back of the fuse box. And again, if your vehicle is a left-hand drive vehicle, your fuse box will be on the opposite side, so please do check this also. Okay, at this stage now we've put all the wires in, we're just going to check that all the lights are functioning together. So obviously if you've got the LED grill light, you want to make sure that the side vents go with it as well. So turn on the ignition, it should light up. So check both sides and also check the LED grill light if you've got one installed. If you followed the steps as shown, everything should be working correctly. Okay, all we're going to do now is tidy up all the wiring. So with the cable ties supplied, just going to bunch up all these cables like so. Now we're going to put the fuse box cover back on. As I said previously, make sure you're putting it back in the same way as you removed it. It can be quite difficult and quite tight under there. It may take some patience, but once it's in, just make sure all of the clips are clipped in using your hand. And also make sure that all of the wiring we have running to the fuse box are on the rubbers. We're just tidying up the wires now, using all of the cable ties supplied. What we like to do is go off these little brackets just up here. It's quite handy for holding the wire. Obviously this doesn't need to be precise, it's just a case of keeping the wires as tidy as possible. So all we're going to do now is bunch up all the wires like so. Just get it as tidy as possible and just get rid of all that slack just using a cable tie. Okay, so now you're happy with all the cables. They're all nice and tidy. We're just going to check everything we've done. Make sure that no cables are in the way of anything. We're going to reinstall the top shrouds now, starting with the right-hand side one. It is important that you put on the right-hand side one first and then the left-hand side, because they actually lay on top of each other. There's little connectors at the back of the shroud as well that actually need to be pushed in. So you do need to make sure that these are underneath the little panel trim at the back. And then you want to just reinstall the 3 clips from either side and put in the 2 flathead bolts. So there you go guys, that is the end of our fitment video on how to fit our LED side vents. If you have any questions, please get in contact with us, or failing that, drop in the comment section below. See you on the next video.